G'day everyone, welcome to Roo Hammer, Season 2, Episode 49. Got a very special show tonight. Thank you everyone who's joining us on Facebook and YouTube. Hammer, how's things, mate? What's going on in your world?
Good, mate. Life is normal down here, mate. Going along very, very nicely. Couple of guys have tuned in. Davey Curran's tuned in, dad of the great Josh Curran. Hey, Dave, how are you, mate?
Welcome, Dave.
Christian from Fanatics has joined in again, and of course TK, who's always watching what we do.
Legend,
love
TK.
Love the photos on Facebook today, TK. Wow,
it's a awesome look. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, mate, I've been good. I believe today is your wedding anniversary, mate.
It is, yeah. 9 years, going strong. Yeah. Let's just say I have a very understanding wife. So,
you have a great
Cleo, shout out to you, Cleo. Love you. One of the creative geniuses behind Roo Hammer as well. So thank you for all your support.
Absolutely. Special show tonight, mate.
Very special.
Talk about the Warriors draw, and as always, when we've got something important to discuss with the Warriors, we get the Brains Trust from over the ditch to join us on the show. We've got both Brad and Richie from the Standoff. Welcome, boys. We love these guys on the show. They bring a different perspective and a point of view that adds to our discussion. So welcome, boys. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, cheers for having us.
Thanks, yeah. Pleasure as always.
And we have a new face to our screens tonight. Sam Revill, who's another NRL content creator on YouTube. I've been following him for a little while now. I really love the way he presents his stuff. And we thought this would be a great opportunity for him to come on the webcast, and we can bring him into the Roo Hammer whānau that we have here. So welcome to you, Sam.
Howdy, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on such a big video. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to deep diving into it with you.
Yeah, mate. No dramas.
Awesome. Great to have you on, mate.
Yeah,
well, I guess we should start off going through the first news that was released this week through the squad, released by the club earlier in the week for the Warriors for season 2022. So I'll just go through that in alphabetical order. In the Nrl squad, we've got Bunty Afoa, Ewan Aitken, Rocco Berry, Josh Curran, Wade Egan, Adam Whenua-Blake, Tohu Harris, Chanel Harris-Tavita, Sean Johnson, Eli Katoa, Ed Cosi, Matt Lodge, Marcello Montoya, Jack Murchie, Ben Murdoch-Masilla, Cody Nikorima, Aaron Panay, Junior Ratuva rejoins the squad, Pride Pedersen-Rabadi, Adam Pompey, Bailey Sirinen, Jazz Tavanga, Viliami Valia, Reece Walsh, and Dylan Watane-Zelezniak. That rounds out 25 contracted players. For the 2022 squad. We've also got some development players. We've got Leighton Finau, Kina Kepu, Lingi Kepu, and Taniela Odokolo, interestingly enough, is still listed as a development player.
Are you surprised with that, boys?
A little bit. I think they're just taking advantage of it for the salary cap.
Yeah,
he was technically a development player last year, and they brought him up due to injuries and whatnot. So, I think it's just a shrewd way of managing the cap.
It's interesting though, because we've promoted Ed Cosi from development to the main roster, and we've promoted Viliami Valea from the same development to the main roster. And I think Pride Pedersen-Rabadi was a development player last year as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
I nothing against Pride, but I thought Taniela had earned his spot in that 25, and maybe Pride could have been that development player. But as you said, it could be a shrewd way of dealing with the salary cap, Brad. Mark Roberts has said it is surprising because it only leaves us with one true number 9 in the main roster.
Truly recognised Tucker there, in Egan.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, go on, mate. Junior players?
Yeah, that's it, mate. Junior players. Okay, apologies if I get any of these pronunciations wrong, but I'll give it my best shot. Jacob Laban, Zion Mainu, Eric Vafasaga,
Yeah,
Dominic
good work.
Siakafula and Ali Lilea. Apologies.
Leo,
Yeah. Train and trial players as well. Trey Fuller, Jaden Corrigan, Tom Arley, Garrett Smith, Ash Taylor, Jackson Frey, and Adam Cook. So an interesting list of train and trial guys there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised about Tom. I would have been signing him up as soon as I could if it was me. But yeah, I'm not in charge, unfortunately. So
Not yet. Not yet. In the Warriors hierarchy, though, mate. You could get a gig.
I'll give it a go. I got nothing else on. So
yeah, I mean, with the squad now at 25, I think you'd say that if Ash Taylor trains well through this offseason, he's pretty much guaranteed of picking up a contract for 1 year. And Tom Arley, I agree, is another one that I thought would be on a contract, but who knows? I don't know who the Warriors are looking at in the short term. I know they keep throwing up words like Joey Manu and Murata Nakore for 2023, but there's no real talk about who they're looking at for 2022. So maybe just leaving those 5 spots open. It gives an option for anyone who may get
mid-season transfers, pick up a few guys like we did this year.
Yeah, look, so long as we don't pick up Tyrone May, I'll be happy.
The speed machine, the speed demon.
Mate, yeah. So moving into the drum, and it was only released yesterday, and I had a quick look over it, and we're going to go through week by week with the boys here, give our thoughts and opinions on the Warriors matchups, the Cowboys matchups, because we've got Sam on the show, and also any key matchups that are in each round. But going through the Warriors, they spent a good chunk of the early stage of the season on southeast Queensland. They've got 8 of their opening 14 games played in that region, which includes the home game that they take away to Sunshine Coast, and also includes Magic Round, which is another home game. Of those games, they'll play 5 out of Redcliffe at their base at Moreton Bailey Stadium. Magic Round again, round 10, and we'll face the grand final runners-up in the Rabbitohs in that game, so that definitely won't be an easy one. In massive news for the club, and as we go through the roster, we'll discuss this, and their home fans, the Warriors will return to Mount Smart Stadium after 1,023 days since their last home game there. And they get back-to-back rounds too. They'll do it in round 15 and round 16. Not going to be an easy task. They'll face the premiers, the Penrith Panthers, in round 15, which will be a blockbuster of a game for Warriors fans. And then the next week they'll play the West Tigers in the final leg of the Mike Doreen Cup for season 2022.
The silverware that people really care about.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other games, they host the Storm, which will be another big one, the Bulldogs and the Titans in the final round of the season. And then the breakdown of that is they play 6 Friday night games, all at the 6 o'clock early time frame. But I think it'll be the New Zealand ones will be at 8 o'clock in New Zealand. 6 o'clock here, yeah. They get 1 Friday night Channel 9 game. We get
Parramatta.
I think it's Parramatta during the Origin.
It's Parramatta during Origin. Yeah. We should just take what we're given with Channel 9. We are usually very sparing.
Absolutely. We get 10 Saturday afternoon games. We get 2 Saturday night games, 4 Sunday games, including a 1 Channel 9 game, which is a game against the Sharks.
Sharks, that's right. Yeah.
Monday night game, which is the traditional Anzac game.
Yep.
The Storm. And there's the 5 teams that the Warriors will only face just the once next season are the Broncos, the Knights, the Eels, the Bulldogs, and the Sea Eagles. So it's a bit of a mix there based on, positioning on the ladder last year. And 12 of our 24 games are against top 8 sides, which basically means 12 of our 24 games are against teams that finished in the bottom 8 last year. So that's a pretty good mix, isn't it? If we can at least beat those bottom 8 teams, then we're on 24 points. 2 points with the bye, and we may be, lurking around that 7th or 8th spot, which is probably what we want to be.
What could go wrong? I mean, we always win those games we're supposed to, don't we?
We do. What was the emotions like in the news when the draw released yesterday, Brad and Richie, with the announcement that the club would be coming home for 5 seasons at the back end of the competition next year?
I'll let Richard go in a bit, but my part, it's I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, understandable.
So I'm in Auckland, so I'm very cynical right now. I'm not sure. I'm very hopeful. We should have things sorted by then, but you just never know. So I want to be optimistic, but yeah, I'm not. As Mark said, as long as Nostradamus doesn't speak up. So
do you guys want to know what I think? Do you guys want to know what I think? No.
I really don't. But yeah, what about you, Richie?
You took the words out of my mouth, Brad. It's awesome, but it's a little bit of believe it when it happens as well. I just hope that everything goes well and that comes to fruition, and then they do the whole shebang. Make them run out of the tunnel, have flamethrowers, get the drummers beating drums, because I'm pretty sure they'll get a packed house and it would be pretty epic.
Yeah, I think it'll be massive. I think Rob and I are definitely going to try and get back to New Zealand for one of those games next year. We don't be selfish and take 2, tickets off. Fans who have missed out on seeing footy for the last 2 years, but at the same time, we'd really love to get back and be at a game and meet all you guys face to face, all our the New Zealand fans face to face. Mate, I reckon for us, Rob, one that we should really aim for is the Mike Doreen Cup.
It's a no-brainer. It has to be.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's absolutely a no-brainer. I reckon too. With Sam on the show too, I reckon we should have the Todd Payton Cup between the Cowboys and the Warriors. We'll make it official.
Wasn't expecting you to talk nice about me, mate. I've taken 3 players off you. I think Cowboys have taken 3 players from the Warriors over the past month or 6 weeks. Yeah. So I'm sitting in dangerous dimensions right now. I'm bloody cutting cornered at the moment. But if I can just have a quick say on Mount Smart, it becomes one of top 5 biggest games of the entire year for anyone. If it goes ahead, man, it will be such an occasion if it does go ahead. Definitely hope it does as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into the draw, mate. Rob, do you want to kick off with round 1? What's the
first game of the season? Absolute blockbuster. Kicks off with the Premiers, Penrith Panthers, hosting Manly out at Bluebet Stadium on Thursday, the 10th of March. That'll be a massive homecoming for the Panthers boys, who'll be able to, I guess, finally celebrate in front of their home fans. Should be close to a sellout crowd out there. In terms of the Warriors, we'll host the Dragons on Saturday, March 12, 4:30 p.m. Game over here at Sunshine Coast Stadium. So that's a home game for us at Sunshine Coast, but we do have another Sunshine Coast game later in the year, but I think that's an away game. I was a bit confused when they released the draw.
Yeah,
they said one Sunshine Coast, but I'm like, we're playing the Rabbitohs, but that's obviously a Rabbitohs home game. And no, I don't want to remember what happened this year at Sunshine Coast Stadium against the Rabbitohs. I sat through that thing. Sam, your Cowboys host the Bulldogs at home in the final game of the round. You'd have to be happy with that first up.
Oh, the ending the round 1 with the 15th versus 16th clash probably won't garner too much attention. I'm pretty terrified at the moment, if I'm being honest with you, because they've bought half the competition, Canterbury, and we've brought Chad Townsend for $850K. I'm a bit nervous about it, man, because it sets the platform and base up pretty early for us in the season next year.
You'll probably have a few more Warriors players by then anyway.
The Bulldogs have bought well, but I think it's going to – I don't think their purchases automatically turn into games won. You know, they're going to have to take some time to build those combinations, and
That's it. Yeah.
You know, I still can't see the Bulldogs making the 8, even with all the hype around them. I think what's the halfback they bought? Burton. I think Matty Burton's a fantastic player. The Fox is an interesting one for me. Everyone raves on about the Fox, but the Fox is a finisher. The Fox doesn't.
No Justin Olam. No Justin Olam beside him.
You know, so he's going to be relying on his inside man to put him in space, which is why he's been so prolific at Melbourne. He's not going to have that at the Bulldogs, so he could struggle. It could be, AKA Blake Ferguson last year, who went like 19 rounds before he scored a try. But the Warriors Dragons game, Brad, Richie, how do you see that one playing out? What's your expectations there?
As long as it's different to when we last played them.
Still having withdrawals from that. Seriously, that was just painful.
It's going to be interesting because we've got a lot of key players out in those first couple of rounds with suspensions.
True.
So I've still got Dragons as my wooden spoon, either them or the Tigers. So I go in confident. But yeah, it's those games that I should win, as we all know, are never the case. So I'm nervous, much like Sam is. But yeah, I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah.
we all are. We all are.
I
agree, mate.
Yeah.
I think it's a game that we need to be going in confident that we can win, start off the season well. Yes, we're going to be without, I think Lodge is out for that first game. Walsh. The other one was Evans, but he doesn't matter anymore because he's gone.
That's true.
Yeah. And he was never going to be a big loss anyway. For me, I mark that as a game that I think we should win, and we should be on 2 competition points at the end of that. And I really think we should be leading the comp on for and against after that game. We should really put some points on the Dragons. They've been one of the quieter teams to have gone to market in the off season, and they have lost some very good players. Other games of interest in that round for me, the Broncos Rabbits, I think, on Friday night.
Yeah.
Necessarily due to the skill level of both teams, but the Broncos did finish the season quite well, and now with Adam Reynolds there, he gets to play his first game as a Bronco at Suncorp Stadium against his former club. Any other games on that round one that you guys think would be interesting matchups?
For me, not for me. I really just had the Panthers Seagulls and Broncos Rabbits.
Yeah, me
well,
too.
So.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Just want to say that, Parramatta, for example, their fans haven't seen them play since July, and they're going to host the Gold Coast Titans, and there are people that are saying that it's going to be a bad crowd on that Sunday Arvo down there at Combank. I think it will get 20,000 at least anyway, just because Parramatta fans have been starved of seeing their team play. So I think we can all look forward to massive bumper crowds over the first 3 or 4 weeks.
Yep.
I think so too, mate. I think there will be massive crowds because you've got the Raiders will be playing at home. They haven't played at home since the COVID lockdown in July. Same with the Roosters, the Tigers, and the Eels. So I think all those games that are being hosted at Sydney grounds will have good crowds, and if they don't, then I don't know what's wrong with their members to be exact. Yeah. So, yeah, I agree, mate. There will be some good crowds. Round 2 kicks off with another big game on Thursday night, which is the Storm hosting the Rabbits at Amy Park. Our Warriors will travel down from Redcliffe to the Gold Coast to face the Titans at Seabus on Saturday, March the 19th at 2 p.m.
Jeez, that's going to be a hot one. That's going to be a really warm one. That one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be a tough game too. I mean, there's, we need to get some retribution for that points fest that the Titans put on us at the final round last
Another
year.
one I had to sit through. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the jinx.
Yeah.
Well, Cowboys, they'll be hosting the Raiders at home. 2 home games in a row on Saturday, March 19th at 7:35. That'll be a tough game for the Raiders. For the Cowboys, sorry. That'll be a tough game for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it will be interesting for sure, man. Cowboys, 6 of their first 7 games, they don't leave the state of Queensland. And ironically enough, they leave for Canberra in round 6. So that's the only time that they're leaving the state of Queensland, when they go down and take on Canberra.
Yep. Yeah. Christian's saying he'll be at the Titans versus Warriors game. He's going to be out and about early in the season. The old fanatics.
Okay. We should be there too, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll be there. That Gold Coast game will be an interesting matchup because, I think Reece Walsh is still suspended for that game. What did he get? He got 3 weeks all up, hasn't he?
2, was it 2, wasn't it?
I think he got 1 suspended for the actual game, and then he got 2 weeks for the
for going too close to the line.
Yeah, so he'll be out for 3 rounds. I think Lodge is only missing the first game, so he should be back. Who do you expect will be playing fullback in the absence of Reece Walsh for those games?
I think it'll be Dallin.
Yeah, Dallin.
Yeah. He's obviously you want Walsh there, but a guy that's played for his country at fullback as a backup isn't too bad. And that will hopefully give Junior Ratuva a chance on the wing.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that guy. I hope he gets a decent run. He could be absolute game breaker for us.
Because you'd have to say Marcelo Montoya has a mortgage on that left wing spot at the moment. He was outstanding for us last year, and I think he'll get first crack on that left edge again when we go around next season. The other game of interest that I picked out in this round was the Roosters Seagulls, the second game on the Friday night. Any other ones stand out to you guys?
Yeah. The Cronulla Sharks host Parramatta Eels. Yeah, man. First time at PointsBet Stadium in 18 months to 2 years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Not only that, they've bought quite well, the Sharks.
New coach.
A lot of people have forgotten about Cameron McInnes going there. Cameron McInnes in 2020 was, one of the standout players in the comp at the Dragons. He was, the top defender. I don't know if he'll play hooker at Cronulla or whether he'll play lock because I've got the young Blake Brayley playing at hooker. And then they've also got Craig Fitzgibbon going there, taking over the coaching role, and the Nico Hines as well. So, they've bought rather astutely, I thought. That could be an interesting one. The Sharkies are my smoky for next year, based on that they've put together. As much as we're not fans of one of their wingers, both their wingers are great finishers. They're my smoky for next year. They're the team that I expect that could trouble a few sides. Moving into round 3, Rob, what do we got, mate?
That's it, mate. The first massive game of the season, round 3. Our Warriors will travel to Sydney to take on the West Tigers at Campbelltown in the first leg of the Mike Doreen Cup. That's right. And it's the early game. It's the spot we have a mortgage on, the 6 p.m. Friday over here. So that's on Friday, the 25th of March. That's what I said to Hammer before the draw was released. 75% of our games either 6 p.m. Friday or 3 o'clock Saturday for us over here, and then obviously 8 o'clock and 5 o'clock for you blokes. But that'll be a good game. We don't traditionally play too well at Campbelltown.
No, but it's our first guaranteed win of the season, at least. So.
I thought round 1 was.
Yeah.
Dicey on the Dragons, but we know that everyone's going to beat the Tigers this year. So,
hey, mate! If we win that though, we automatically retain the Mike Doreen Cup.
Exactly.
Because we won. We won it. Got 2-0 last year, so you can start engraving it, mate. Because it's guaranteed.
No. Doesn't it go on for and against? If we get beaten,
okay.
by a bigger margin. It's yeah.
So if we win 18-16 and then they beat us 50-0, it's still over.
Yep, they get it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
unfortunately.
all
Yeah.
right. Rules are rules. Yep.
Yep.
Sam, your Cowboys will travel to Suncorp to take on the Broncos in a Channel 9 game on Sunday. That's a bit of a turn up for the books, isn't it?
16
Broncos and
years.
Cowboys. Yeah.
16 years since they played each other during the day, these two, and that's such a massive get for North Queensland after finishing freaking 15th this season. I'm really looking forward to round 3. That's probably one of the top 3 or 5 games I'm definitely looking forward to in 2022.
Always a great game, isn't it? The Broncos and the Cowboys. Always goes down to the wire.
Can I just ask you, Sam? How you're a Canberra man, like you live down in Canberra. How did you become a Cowboys supporter? Living in
okay, all right. No, that's cool. I've been a Cowboys supporter for as long as I can remember. I recall in the late 90s on Sports Tonight or whenever the sports was being narrated on that they referred to North Queensland as tropical North Queensland, and I was even though I was young, I still equaled that tropical means rainforests, and I don't know, man. I've just always followed Cowboys, and I think back in the day I thought their logo was the coolest, and Toy Story was my favorite movie when I was younger.
Woody.
And Woody, exactly.
Reach for the sky.
I love a story about how someone supports a team. So, that's
mate.
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Absolutely. Other games of interest in that round. We've got the Rabbitohs versus the Roosters. That's always an interesting / fiery matchup.
Yep.
Interesting to see Latrell back for that one.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
Yeah. Latrell against Manu. And Storm versus Eels should be another good game as well on the Saturday.
Yeah, the Thursday night game, the Dragons versus Sharks. They're traditionally a good game of footy when those two teams play because they're traditional
Local
rivals.
derby.
Yeah. So, and again, you've got guys like McInnes playing against his old club. Fitzgibbon played at the Dragons at some point. He was a Illawarra Steeler, I know. But, yeah, so that could be an interesting one too. And just looking, and maybe even the Raiders Titans, like that. The Titans next year should be wanting to build on what they did this year.
Yep.
So after finishing in the 8, they need to be thinking of themselves as a top 8 side and backing that up. And the Raiders should be disappointed with the way that they went. So they should be looking. They've got a top 8 roster. The Raiders do. So both of those sides should be up there and abouts. I know you can't have 16 teams all up in the top 8. I realise that. But, some of these teams did underperform last year, and I'm expecting that some of them, a team like the Raiders, will bounce back. Round 4, mate. We head to Redcliffe. We're hosting the Broncos in a Saturday afternoon game. Broncos, 2 afternoon games in a row. What's going on?
Yeah, they'll be loving that. That's what they want. They want the afternoon games.
Yeah, the Cowboys will have play host to the Roosters on Saturday, April the 2nd at 7:35. That'll be a tough one, mate.
So tough, so incredibly tough, man.
Yeah. And then the other games of interest that I picked out in this round were the Panthers Rabbits on Friday night, the Sea Eagles Raiders on Saturday, and the Storm versus the Bulldogs, mainly for the fact of Addo Carr coming up against his old club. That was pretty much the only reason. And because I went through and hadn't listed the Bulldogs as any interesting game, and I thought I better list them as one.
It's like Channel 9 when they're looking for games. Oh, we haven't given the Warriors one. We better give them one.
Yep.
Yeah. Based on our first 4 games where we play the Dragons, the Titans, the Tigers, and the Broncos, I'd like to get your thoughts on this, Brad and Richie. I actually think that we should be 4-0 at that point of the season.
Yep, top of the table.
1-3. 1 and 3.
Yeah.
No, in theory we should, but I said at the start of this season just gone that we should start quite well, and we didn't. So it all is going to depend on how SJ hits the ground running, in my opinion.
Yep.
Not having those big guys at the start won't help matters, but thankfully it's not like they're playing the Storm and the Rabbitohs and that in the first couple of weeks. So yeah, they've got a reasonably easy-ish first month, if ever there's such a word in the NRL. But I think 4-0 should be at least 3-1 should be a reasonable goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stopped labeling games during the season on standoff. I stopped labeling them as winnable because every time I brought up the W word, it went the other way. So I won't jinx us with that word.
Yeah.
I think we just need to channel that 2018 start where we went 5-0 and we won some games that were against the grain. You know, we beat the Raiders, we beat the Roosters.
Yeah.
You made an interesting point, Brad, where you said it depends on how SJ hits the ground running. I think the more important one is how his half partner hits the ground running and who that will be, whether it will be Ash
Taylor's going to be fine, mate. Ash Taylor's going to be amazing.
I reckon he will be. I at this stage would have him starting the season at 6 with Sean Johnson.
He'll be hungry, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot to prove, and I'm sure he'll be ripping in pre-season. Guys, round 5. We're going to kick off with last season's top 8 finishes. The Knights hosting Manly on Thursday, April 7th. And then a big game, 6 o'clock Friday night. The Warriors host the second successive home game at Redcliffe, with us taking on Sam's Cowboys in town on Friday, April 8th at 6 p.m. Who's more confident in that one?
Surrounded by Warriors at the moment. I ain't feeling confident at this very second. It will be interesting. If it's anything like their round 12 Indigenous round clash this year, or the one down in Gosford, we're in for absolute friggin' beauty. Yeah,
I agree. We will dub this the first round of the Todd Payton Cup.
Toddy Payton Cup.
Cool.
We love you, Toddy.
And there are a couple of ex-Warriors that will probably feature in this game. Jermaine Tanoa-Brown, Lockie Burr, Petahiku, and Chad Townsend. And I think Petahiku's the danger for me because we're well aware of how he can put his outside man, how deceptive he can be. He can draw those players in and put his man.
And Hammer, so am I, man. I like Peter Hiku very much, actually. I hope he does really good for us next year.
Wait till we have to defend for you.
Fine. Fine.
No, we hope he plays well, except for round 5. Yeah.
I think he'll do well, but you know the Warriors will be throwing everything they have at him on attack because he still can't tackle. Which, I've complained about that a lot, but what he offers you on attack is so much more. So it does help, but I expect to see the big boys running at him all day.
True.
Yeah, plenty of traffic heading his way.
Yeah. The exciting matchup in that game will be the two young fullbacks, Tabuai Fido and Reece Walsh.
Yes, sir.
That will be a mouth-watering matchup, provided Toddy keeps the little hammer at fullback and Valentine Holmes out on a wing. But that'll be a good matchup for me. I'll be really looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Other games of interest in the round: Titans versus Eels on Saturday should be a pretty good game there at Seabus Super Stadium on the Gold Coast.
Yep.
Yeah, I got the Rabbitohs Dragons for the bloodbath.
Yep.
I've got that in there as well. I'm not expecting, as I've said much of the Dragons, and I think it will be one of those
Dragons hater.
One of those high-scoring games that we grew to loathe this year as Warriors fans. But I think that one will be interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. and I've picked out the Raiders and the Storm. Again, I don't know, something about the Raiders. I just think the Raiders are another team that are just going to improve on. I mean, they have to from what they produced this year, but I think they're going to trouble a lot of sides next year. I really like the look of their roster. They're making some astute changes in their back line. They're not thinking about reputations. Ricky's, put all reputations on hold, and he's given a lot of young guys a bit of a start this past season, and they'll be better for the run. So, I think that one will be a good game. Speaking of the Raiders, round 6 kicks off with them hosting your Cowboys on a cold night in Canberra. That'll be, mate. You did mention that's the game the Cowboys have outside of Queensland for the season.
Yep.
It's a long road trip.
Yeah, but I'll be welcoming them with open arms. That's for sure. This is the game that I will put everything in my being to be there live in attendance for sure, man. It might be the last ever game I attend at GIO before I move to Queensland, so I'll be there with bells on, man. Can't wait for that one.
Nice. Our Warriors travel to the SCG to take on the Roosters on Sunday, 17th April at 2 p.m. Prick of a place to watch footy, the SCG.
Be miles away from the action.
Yeah, like a picturesque ground. It's great to look at it on TV, but when you're there, you kind of corner of the field. You don't really get. Yeah, it's the sooner they get their new stadium built, the better. That place is a nightmare. That'll be an interesting game for us, though. The Roosters game. It's one of those games where I've marked as a maybe, depending on how we're travelling and how they're travelling. I know it may sound weird, but I'm still not sold 100% on Sam Walker. Interesting to see. Other games that round, I've listed the Sea Eagles and Titans on the Saturday as an interesting game. And it's the Easter weekend that weekend, and the traditional Easter Monday game is the Eels versus Tigers, and it's always a pretty good game of footy, that one. So I've listed that one as a game of interest as well.
Storm Sharks, I think, will be a good one. Yeah, on Saturday. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. That's all I have as well.
Awesome. Round 7 kicks off with the Sharks hosting the Sea Eagles. And then our Warriors travel down to Melbourne, the daunting road trip. To take on the Storm in the traditional Anzac Day clash, which we said before was on a Monday night. And it also coincides as the final game of the round, Monday, April 25th at 7 p.m. Geez, it feels like an eternity since we won an Anzac Day game, doesn't it?
Sure it's does. The one game every year I wish we didn't have to play.
What was it, 2016, 2017?
2014, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
And they're never, it feels like they're never bloody close anymore either, unfortunately.
There was one where we lost by 1 point, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah, 2019. We led all the way up until the last
that was
minute.
Disgraceful. That was that referee decision.
Cam Smith milked that penalty at the end there, and then they got the penalty and
Herbert?
Field goal.
Was that the
Paddy Herbert stay do?
Yep. Yeah, that was a good game. Yeah, that was a good game. Yeah.
So would you guys say that Melbourne Storm are your biggest rivals as Warriors fans? Or somewhere else?
We used to have a really strong rivalry with them. Like we used to be like 1-1 every year with them, but then it's just fallen away. We haven't beaten them since 2015, and it's all been one-way traffic since then. So I would have said up until about 2015, we gave them a bit of trouble. We used to say that we had the game that worried them because we'd move the ball around a fair bit, and whereas they're used to people playing them with such structure, as we trouble them with all the offloads and the ad lib play. But since we've kind of moved away from that style of play, it's
history tells you they don't like playing us in the finals.
No,
we just need to make the finals.
Yeah, we just got to get into the damn finals.
And the Broncos too, I think they're another team that we've had a bit of a rivalry with because of that first game at Mount Smart Stadium back in '95, and then we, talking to Brent Tate last week, was kind of brought those memories back of those great contests that we had through the early 2000s when we played the Broncos. But, the Melbourne Storm have always been a side that had a relatively good record against. The team we've got the worst record against is actually the Dragons.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? We went almost like 10 years or something without beating them. It was something ridiculous like that. We had like 1 or 2 wins in like 10 years.
Yeah.
That's why Brad hates them.
Yeah.
I understand. From a Cowboys perspective, they'll be home hosting the Gold Coast Titans Saturday, April 23rd, 5:30 p.m. That'll be a big game.
Yeah, just try and wrap up David Fafita, mate. That's what we need to do and tighten up on our freaking defence.
Yeah. Well, Fafita, the enigma, mate, he only plays 10 minutes a game. That's the only thing you got to worry about is close to the line because he doesn't get the ball unless he's in the opposition 10 or 20. You know.
I would say that his season. Sorry for getting off track. I would say that David Fafita's season was just a little bit above average. I wasn't all that impressed with him. Besides the 1 or 2 games, man. I think he needs to improve next year.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's fair.
We had a constant conversation last year when we were doing the weekly reviews and previews that he kept being named on the bench, and you're naming the most expensive player at your club coming off the bench, and he's only playing 40 minutes of footy. That didn't make sense to me, and I thought his season was average at best.
And at times as well, he got made to look like a boy. He's still a young man, but at times the defence, when they took on the Melbourne Storm, they made him look like a young man, and it was clear to me that was what was happening.
Yeah, we handled him well in round one. Round one, he was.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
It was almost like he wasn't on the field. We didn't really notice him. So he's going to be an interesting one. But that'll be a great clash. That clash at between the Cowboys and the Titans.
And we've also got the game that Brad will be pumped for: the Dragons versus the Roosters, Monday and Anzac Day.
Yeah, another bloodbath. I want to see the go. That round, though, I'm actually really interested in the Broncos Bulldogs. I think we talked about it already with you, Sam, when you guys are playing the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs are a different team, and the Broncos is going to be quite different too with all their changes. And I think it's going to be quite more evenly matched than we would have predicted last year. So I think that one will be quite interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the team for me that I think is going to struggle this year is the Knights without Mitch Pearce.
Yeah.
And they haven't really named a halfback replacement. They haven't gone to market to get anyone. And
might be Brooks.
And what's he done at Tigers, mate?
It's going to be Chanel. We all know it.
Chanel.
10 years. You reckon Chanel will go there?
Well, it's just the Knights always seem to have a habit of taking our halves.
They do. Lino. Yeah.
I don't know. They keep saying Brooks, but I don't see Brooks being the magic pill because he hasn't been the magic pill for the Tigers.
No.
So, but there's not a lot of options out there unless you get someone to release a player out of contract. So, it's not like there's a whole lot. The only thing they could hope for is, in my opinion, if the Warriors say no to Ash Taylor, which I don't think. They
pick up Ash Taylor and Chanel asks for this.
Yeah. That's realistic, I think. Yeah.
Because I can't see Cody going there. I think Cody's got his heart set on remaining in Queensland and maybe linking up with the Dolphins. I was surprised when the whole Mitch Pearce story broke and the Knights didn't seem to look at Sean O'Sullivan. I thought Sean O'Sullivan would have been ideal for them to pick up when he'd already knocked back what the Warriors are offering. I mean, going to Penrith's a great thing for him. He's going to a club with a winning culture. He's going to start the season probably at halfback because the Cyborg is out injured for a few rounds, I think. But I know we got getting off track a little bit, but I always love these sideways conversations that we get
Rabbit
into.
trails. Yeah.
Where are we up to? Round 8?
Round
Yes.
8.
Round
Round
8.
eight.
Yeah.
Round 8. Okay, let's. Sharks Broncos, I think, is the first game that round. Yeah, it is. That'll be a good matchup. That'll be a really, really good matchup. Sean James says, "Hey Mark, what do you think of the Bears wanting to be Team 18?" Yeah, mate, it'd be great, but it's not the Bears that I supported. So, you know, that they left 20 something years ago. So it's kind of a different Bears outfit as far as I'm concerned. It'd be good to see him back though. But I think, ideally, I think the growth of the game needs to be either Perth, you know, Wellington, Papua New Guinea, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Somewhere not
La-
Sydney, New South Wales.
Yeah, the last thing we bloody need is another Sydney team.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think for that reason they'll struggle.
Yeah. The Warriors host the Raiders at Moreton Daily Stadium on Saturday, 30th of April at 3 p.m. I'm sure Millie will be at that one. And then the Cowboys travel to Darwin to face the Eels. April 30th, 7:35 p.m.
Yeah, get
that'll be-
the powder out, get the
That'll
bloody
still be
glue.
hot. So
They'll be
hot.
slipping the bloody ball out of their hands all bloody game, that one, eh?
Yeah, they will. The Raiders game for us is a good one. I like. We always have traditionally good matchups against the Raiders. We've had some good wins against them. We've also had some very close losses. We've had some painful losses, like round 23 last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had that
16
game.
0, what can go wrong?
And Jordan Rapana decided he was going to play for about 20 minutes and destroyed us. What's the capacity at Moreton Daily Stadium?
It's about 11,500 at Redcliffe. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
About the same
there'll
as
be
Sunshine
some decent.
Coast.
Yeah. Okay. So there'll be some decent crowds at these games too.
Yeah, a lot of Raiders support in southeast Queensland as well. So they'll all turn up.
A lot of Raiders support New Zealand as well.
Mm.
I always remember seeing games at Mount Smart, and there was a shitload of Raiders supporters over in New Zealand. Other games of interest in this round, boys. What have you got?
I got Rabbitohs Sea Eagles.
Yeah.
Just the cliche one. It's like the best two in that round going against each other, looking at it.
Yep.
But yeah, that's for me there. Another game on Central Coast too.
Oh, it is too. I didn't even notice that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely Southern Manly for me as well, man. I think that might just about be the match of the round.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
what
you're
about-
forgetting about the primetime Sunday game, Dragons versus Tigers.
The wooden spoon.
Oh,
wooden
man.
spoon match.
Oh, yeah.
No one's going to show up to watch that one.
They don't have to. It's on Channel 9.
It's on Channel 9, I'm not.
Oh, yeah. They'll have to bring out the crowd noise again for that one, won't they?
The canned applause.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Round 9. We have got kicking off with the Rabbitohs, Broncos at Stadium Australia. So there's the return clash there between those two sides. Adam Reynolds factor again there to pique everyone's interest. Our Warriors travelling to the Shire to take on the Sharks in the Channel 9 game on Sunday, May 8th at 4:05 p.m. A bit of interest in that with, obviously Sean Johnson hopefully coming back to take on his former club. And, well, hopefully he's on the field for that one.
Why? Why did you even say it?
I thought better off it, and I'm just like, don't say it.
He's going to be injured now.
Touch wood.
Thanks.
He's
Nostradamus loves being wrong. Come on, loves being proved wrong.
he's got a record for the Warriors at Sharks home ground too.
Yeah.
I've watched him time tear the Sharks to pieces single-handedly, and I know we don't have highlight reel Sean Johnson, but I think he'll steer us around the park for this one, most definitely.
What about that try he
I'm looking forward
scored
to
back?
that.
Was it 2015? That try he scored
Yeah.
right at the end, where he stepped
Magnificent.
half the
I was
team.
there.
That's right. What
Yeah,
did
I was
Vossi
there
say?
that
It was 15 out of 10 on the outrageous meter or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that should be a good game though. We traditionally we do struggle a bit with the Sharks, but a couple of good matches up with them last year's one each. So, and again, the Sean Johnson factor will keep everyone interested. Sam's Cowboys, will be home hosting the Knights on Saturday, May 7th at 7:35.
Yeah, it's just you guys said before that Warriors seem to pinch. Newcastle pinch Warriors halves. I think Newcastle have pinched maybe 4 or 5 of our players in the space of 4 years, so it's a bit of a welcome home. And if I may skip ahead, there's Raiders and Bulldogs are happening in this round on the Friday night. And if my calculations are correct, and if Jared Croker plays round 1 in every game up until this point, that Raiders Bulldogs game on the Friday night will be his 300th game. So that would be a massive, massive night.
That's come around quick, hasn't it? It doesn't seem that long ago he was a rookie.
I only was watching 2008 Under-20s Cup grand final, and he was thereabouts, and it has sort of come up quickly, hasn't it? But he's been around forever at the same time in saying so. But yeah, if I'm not in Canberra, if I am in Canberra, I'm going to get a ticket to that, because outside of North Queensland, I think he's just about my favourite player in the game.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's an interesting stat. Someone's done their research. I love that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Very good.
Yes. Turned up prepared.
Yeah, that's what we're like. Other games of interest.
That'll be the homecoming too for young Jake Clifford, won't it? Coming back with the Knights.
It would be too. Yeah, it would be too. Yeah. Kalen Ponga back if he's not injured himself as well. Touch wood.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting game. Yeah, it'll be a good game.
Can I interest anyone in Panthers versus Eels on Friday?
That'll be a good one.
Oh man, after what they did in the semi-final, bring that on. Absolutely.
Another 8-6 result there.
Yeah, it's round 9, so it's still in that period where the Eels are actually a good team. So it should be a good game. Give it a couple more weeks and it'll be a landslide. But yeah, in that first 10 rounds, they should still be competitive.
Are the Eels the new Dragons? Are they? Remember, Dragons used to be the April premiers that always start the season well.
That's right. May premiers. Yeah, they always used to bring that out.
The Eels are kind of heading that way for sure. They're kind of been one of the dominant teams in the first 2-3 months of the season, and then they dip. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
And just to springboard off of that as well, I hope I'm not taking anyone's thunder, but just with the news that came out on Reed Marnie today, Parramatta might just take April premiers at the moment.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's huge money. 200,000 more than the Eels offer, wasn't it, for the Bulldogs?
I think it's too good of an offer to not. I know, right? But I think it's too good of an offer not to take up if I was Reed Marnie, man.
If I was the Warriors, I'd be throwing all my money at him myself.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
We got enough money because we're not getting Manu. Give him a million.
Brandon Smith was seen with the Titans, wasn't he?
He was.
Talking today. His family's all in Queensland, so him moving and playing up there is probably the logical step.
And
it's going to be madness, isn't it?
His dad's basically all but written the Warriors off, saying we're not even really talking to him at all anyway. So we've got to squash that.
Mark Roberts has just said that leads into the new Akore being offered $625,000 by us. That's a ridiculous number. I think.
Seems like a lot.
It's a big amount of coin, yeah.
It does.
Best centre in the game, Mark. Come on. Best centre in the game.
The best second rower playing centre in the game.
Yeah.
I really thought he could be lowballed because all the reports say he wants to come home. So they could have, maybe offered him a little bit less and he'd still jump. And then that's the thing. Where are they going to play him? I know we're talking 2023, so there could be some more movement in the roster, with a couple of guys coming off contract at the end of next year, like Murchie and so forth. But, we're pretty heavy in the back row department.
Well, you're fairly confident that Curran's going to have one side locked up. Tohu, if he's playing second row or if he goes into lock, and then you've got Katoa, my guy, Big Ben. There's not room for him in the second row.
No.
Well, yeah, and if he ends up playing centre, then he's a second row playing centre, and we might have you and Aitken playing second row, or centre playing in the second row.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's an interesting signing, but we kind of talked about that a few weeks ago when I was on with you guys about my concern with recruiting now that Sullivan was gone, that we'd go back to just throwing money at anybody, which the 625 kind of goes right into that. I feel if Peter O'Sullivan was here, you'd be hearing like 300 to 400 for Nakora.
Yeah, I think that's there or thereabouts. Yeah.
Then again, that's just in the media, so we don't even know, how accurate that is.
Yeah.
These same people that told us at the end of 2020 that we'd signed Tino Fasumuali, so.
And then we're saying that we'd signed Sean Metcalf as well, which apparently is far from a done deal. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was retracted in the media the other day too. So. Which is why we always keep with that old adage that, unless it's announced by the club or announced by the player, then, it's all just rumor and speculation, and we'll have to wait and see. Brad, that round 9, you'd be interested in the first game on the Sunday, the Storm versus Dragons, wouldn't you? That'd be another bloodbath.
Yeah. I tell you, the Dragons may as well have the wooden spoon now with some of these teams they have to play. It'll be over before halfway through the season. You watch, they'll be top 4 at this point, and I'll have to apologize like I did this year on the standoff where I kept saying they were going to be wooden spoon. I still worry for any team that plays Melbourne, to be perfectly honest. I think Melbourne is still head and shoulders above everyone else. I know they didn't win the comp this year, but they're always in the conversation. They're just too good a team, and yes, they lost Josh Adokar, but they got Xavier Coates to replace him, who's fairly handy.
That's all right.
Yeah, they've still got the 2 best hookers in the game. What more can you say?
Yeah,
so a whitewash of a game.
They've only missed the finals twice in their whole history in the NRL, which is amazing.
Salary cap year.
And one of those, what years was the salary cap year? So there's only one season that they've actually legitimately missed the playoffs. That's just insane. And isn't it, they haven't lost a round 1 game in 23 years or something like that?
Yeah, never.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, round 10, boys. Magic round.
Magic in the air.
Yeah, it's definitely one that you boys should get over here for. Save your money. Come, we'll party on up in Brisbane. Going to be a great round of footy. So Friday night, as you know, for anyone who lives under a rock, Magic Round is played at Suncorp Stadium. Every game up there. Friday night, Bulldogs take on the Knights, and then the Sea Eagles Broncos. Saturday is our Warriors versus the Rabbits as the first game, which will be a massive game for us. And it will be a great indicator of where we're sitting midway through the season, I think, too, in terms of how we perform. Followed by the Titans versus the Dragons, which will be great because if old man Elliott's around, we'll be able to say hello to him again. He'll be sitting on the bench.
His pipe and slippers.
Followed by arguably, probably the game of the year, the Storm versus the Panthers.
Yeah.
And then, so there'll be a great crowd there on the Saturday. And then Sunday you've got the Roosters versus the Eels, and then to round out the round you've got the Tigers versus the Cowboys. Great round of footy. Yeah, very good round of footy. I've just gone through every game, so I don't need your comments on anything, boys.
It's all wrapped up in a nice little package, isn't it? Yeah, Magic Round. No, it's an awesome weekend. So.
On any of the games? What games are you looking forward to?
I'll be living 40 minutes south of Brisbane then, man. So I'll be attending, and that Sunday day, just from a Cowboys perspective, that's a great day, man.
Yeah, it is. We'll be doing we'll be doing a Roo and Hammer meet and greet on the Saturday at the Lord Alfred Hotel. So yeah, we'll get some of our ex-Warriors alumni to join us there. We'll reach out to all those wonderful guys that have played for the club that live up in southeast Queensland there. We'll reach out to them and get them on there. We spoke to Tatey last week. He's keen to come along. Tooks is always up for a chat. We'll get him along.
Great man, Tooks.
It'll be a great weekend, and it'll be really great if our brothers from across the ditch there can scoot across for the weekend and watch some footy with us.
Yeah, Richie can cover the fees to get us over there.
The one that doesn't work. Yeah.
I saw in the comments. Sorry to go off track a little bit, but Mark made a good comment talking about with the Dolphins coming in. What does that do to Magic Round? Does that end Magic Round for a bit? Or do you have to sit there and tell the Warriors that they're not going to be in that round?
Oh.
Who misses out?
Yeah,
right. Good call.
Well, yeah, it'll be a bye, won't it?
There'll be a bye for one team. So you would assume they would go with the New Zealand team, I would say, not trying to be a dick, but, you literally would have more fans from Australia for Australian teams. So you would say the Warriors, if thinking in that time we should be able to play in New Zealand again, you'd say just stay home, boys.
Unless as a thank you, Magic Round moves to Auckland.
It sounds good.
Dude, I'm down with that.
They won't do that. Come on, guys.
Two Magic Rounds. Maybe they have two Magic Rounds, and they, the traditional one, and they have another one in round 20 where everyone goes to New Zealand and plays. That'd be a great way of doing it to reward.
That still doesn't fix the problem with the bye, though, guys.
No, I know.
I'll get the Dolphins to sit it out then.
Yeah.
Last team first out.
They can sit it out.
Yeah.
Because then, that makes it interesting because then technically one team would have an extra bye, wouldn't they? Oh, no, everyone would have the same. I don't know how it's going to work.
Well, that's the interesting one because at the moment, there's 5 teams that we only play once. There's so many teams that, we play twice. But, how's the bye going to work out in a 17-team comp that plays 25 rounds? How's it going to be?
Well, effectively, I assume that means you're not going to get points in the bye round anymore because that would essentially every round will have a bye.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I think Peter V'landys has spoken about it, or I think I was flipping through pages and I saw the explanation for it with how it's going to go down in 23. I do think it's out there in a column somewhere.
Okay. We'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I'm sure write that down. You have to do research, mate.
Research.
That's your role.
I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there'll be some more dialogue about it next year. But it is a great team.
Fair point to raise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving.
If it were an Aussie team left out of Magic Round, who would it be? Brad? Dragons?
Dragons. Yeah. No one will miss it. No one will even know that they weren't playing. It'll be fine. This is coming off very anti-Dragons. I apologize to anyone that likes the Dragons. I pick one team every year. So it used to always be Manly, but we all know that I've grown a love for Manly right now, which is confusing to myself and to everyone else. But I just hate the Dragons now. It's their turn.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
All right. And with that being said, round 11 kicks off not with the Dragons, but the Knights and the Broncos on the Thursday night. Our Warriors are travelling to Sydney to take on the Dragons at Netstrata Stadium on Saturday, May 21st, 3 o'clock p.m. So replay of the round 1 game. And Cowboys will be at home hosting the Storm on Saturday, May 21st at 5:30.
Yeah,
Never in doubt.
Never in doubt. Yeah, never in doubt. Yep.
That's a loss. Yeah. You want the Storm last round because that's when they wrestle their players. Otherwise,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other games of interest could be the Eels versus Seagulls on Friday and Roosters versus Panthers on Saturday. A couple of big games there.
Yeah, I got Roosters Panthers as my game to watch.
I like the Tigers Bulldogs, to be quite honest.
Someone
Don't
has
ask me
to.
why.
Someone has to. That's good.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it for Carl. I like it for the Great One.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I like it. There's a bit of banter in within his family between the Tigers and the Bulldogs.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be a good one. Yeah. Who knows? The Tigers could surprise us next year. Doubt it, but they could.
Could.
That is the thing. Like, stop not being a dick again, but that is a thing that makes the NRL so interesting. Is that I've been shitting on the Dragons all night, but any of these teams could be top 8 teams, and the ones we thought were shoo-ins could be at the bottom.
Exactly.
I think this year was a perfect example with the Raiders. I had
And
them
Manly.
as shoo-ins to be playoff, and Manly.
Yeah.
I had Manly. Manly were on the cusp before the season, depending on how Tommy Turbo would come in for me, but I didn't expect them to almost be grand finalists.
Yep.
So yeah, it's cliche, but that the NRL was such a tight competition at the best of times. So but yeah, Dragons will still lose.
Another good game that round will be the Rabbitohs taking a game to Dubbo. So they'll be taking the game against the Raiders to Dubbo. So that should be a good one. I think it's always good when they go to the regional areas of Australia to play some footy and give those fans something to cheer about. Round 12, boys, starts on Thursday night with game of the round for that round, Storm versus Seagulls. Speaking of those two teams. And then the Warriors, we are at home in Redcliffe against the Knights on Saturday, the 28th of May at 3 o'clock. And the Cowboys back up their game against the Storm the previous week. They travelled to Penrith to take on the reigning premiers on Friday, the 27th of May at 6 p.m. It doesn't get any easier for you. That's a shit.
It's a brutal 2 weeks.
That is a fucking nightmare, excuse my French. That is a nightmare of a 2 weeks.
Yeah, it is.
You got that right.
It is.
Yeah.
The Knights game for us, I think that should be one that we expect to win.
Should be, yes.
Yep.
All going well.
I mean, we should have won the 2 we played them this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than that round, boys, that tickle your fancy?
Raiders and Eels. Raiders Eels.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and this is Indigenous round.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad we invited you on the show.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
dude.
Yeah. Okay.
this research
That's good.
is amazing.
Yeah. So we'll all be wearing our Indigenous jerseys that round, I guess.
Mm.
I'll have to.
Unless there's a colour clash like there was for our game against the Cowboys this year.
That's true. You were meant to wear your all black jersey in round 12,
Yeah.
weren't you? Yeah. Yeah, true.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Moving on to round 13, Rob.
Yeah, that's it. We've got the Titans and the Cowboys to kick off this round. That's a great game first up.
It's all right. So the thing about this round, it's a condensed round, and all the Origin players will be out.
Yeah.
So what that means for Feeder, Fasul Malawi, potentially Jared Wallace, Gold Coast are going to be decimated. For North Queensland, just off the top of my head, Hammer, Val, and probably one or two other players. So B-string game on Thursday night, Titans Cowboys.
Interesting, yeah.
Well,
which is great news for us.
I was just about to say, Brad, very good for us because we play Manly, and the guy that terrorises us every time we play Manly will not be playing. Surely he'll be in the Blues team.
I'm pretty sure he'll make it.
Pretty sure he'll be there. First bloke.
Both brothers.
Yeah, win for the Warriors.
And no DC.
Cherry Evans. Yeah.
Cherry Evans will be gone too. Yeah. Wow. Geez, we've got to win this one.
So the Warriors will get smashed in this one. You watch.
It's not when we played Penrith that year where they had all their players out. A young guy called Luai.
Yeah.
Well, in theory, that's the best time to get Manly when Tommy Turbo's not playing. So
absolutely,
it's a great win for us to get them in that round.
Oh yeah, absolutely, definitely. That's another thing I look at the draw is like Origin time. It's usually previous years where we've made that sort of mid-season run. We don't usually have a lot of guys in the Origin setup. So,
well, I don't know if we'll have we almost had Walsh, but I don't know if Walsh will be there this time because he was there due to injuries last year and then got injured himself. I don't know if he will make the team. It depends how well he goes, I guess.
Depends how he's travelling, he's going. Yeah.
You'll expect the likes of Ponga and that to be fit in Origin in his place.
Yep.
And it's Billy Slater, who's the head coach of Queensland, and Josh Hannay as an assistant coach as well. Yeah. So, very different philosophies for Queensland next year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
absolutely. The interesting one will be the Friday night game there. We all saw what the Tigers did to the Panthers last year during Origin when the Panthers lost a good chunk of the team. And they'll be going through. You'd have to expect that they'll be going through that again. And they don't have guys like Burton coming in to fill in for Cleary this time around.
The halves,
and they play in the Bulldogs, so could be an interesting game for the Dogs, depending on whether they've got any players in Origin. A guy like Josh Adokar could actually playing at the Bulldogs could do him more harm than good in terms of Origin if he's having a bad start to the season and not really finishing off. You could see a guy, like Alex Johnson at South who has, continues on his try-scoring ways, maybe get a gig as a smoky in Origin, but who knows? Fiddler pretty much stays solid with and with the players that he's got. But that could be an interesting one.
After years of being accused of chopping and changing their team the whole time, he's really kind of done that well. He's rectified that and stuck with his core squad. So I think you're right.
Yeah, and then the Raiders taking on the Roosters. You'd think that the Roosters will have guys like Luke Keary out, Angus Crichton, Tedesco, definitely. And the Raiders, probably their only Origin rep at this stage would probably be Josh Papali'i. So can't think of anyone else that maybe Jackie Whiten.
Maybe Jim Whiten,
Yeah. So so that could be an interesting game as well. It's always interesting around that Origin pennant where, you get those sides that pay the price for having the talented roster, and it gives teams like us a bit of a chance to claw some points back on the table. So that'll be a good game for us down at Manly there. Another place that's a shit of a place to get to watch footy. Shocking. Round 14. So this will be obviously the game after Origin, is it?
Origin.
Yes. Yeah. No Thursday night game. So it'll be the Cowboys on the Friday night hosting the Dragons, which should be a nice win for the Cowboys.
Yep, absolutely. Win. Yep, we've had a couple of thrillers against the Dragons over the past couple of years, but it'll be a good game.
It's always bloody Corey Norman, isn't it? He got you guys a couple of times with
Is
field
the
goals.
only
He got
reason
us
why I
last
would
year.
sign him.
Yeah.
If I had money in my bloody wallet, the only reason why I'd sign him is because he can kick a field goal, sort of thing. And that's it.
What about the Warriors will host the Sharks, and that will be the final game that the Warriors play out of their Redcliffe base for the season on Sunday, the 12th of June at 6:15 p.m.
It's a weird time, isn't
So
it?
it is it's. Remember, they go from having the 2 o'clock game and then the 4 o'clock game. They go to having the 4 o'clock game and the 6:15 game. I don't know why they do it. I don't know why take away afternoon footy for a Sunday night when everyone goes to work on a Monday.
I think I know the reason. This is the Queen's birthday long weekend, and that's why there's a Sunday night game. And interestingly, the Dragons have been punted from the Queen's birthday game, and it's Bulldogs versus Parramatta.
Ah, okay.
So Dragons
Yeah,
got
that's
punted.
right. Yeah, they always used to play that Monday game, didn't they?
It is on Monday. Yeah, okay. Yeah. The Dragons already have a celebratory game. They get the Anzac game. Give a game to somebody else. That's fine.
I've been listening to Brad at NRL HQ.
Yeah, about time. About time.
That Warriors game will be one that all Queensland-based Warriors fans should get to.
Sell it out.
Yep. Say farewell to the team because ideally it'll be the last time that the Warriors play a home game in Australia. Moving forward, we're hoping that obviously they get back to Mount Smart, and the only time they're over here is as an away team. So that'll be one that we really need to sell out. Other games of interest in round 18, boys.
No, that's it for me.
That's it for me.
Bulldogs.
Roosters
pretty good.
Storm.
Yeah. Roosters Storm, maybe. Yeah.
Round 15 kicks off with the Dragons versus the Rabbits at Wynn Stadium on the Thursday. Our Warriors play their first game, hopefully, Mount Smart Stadium in 1,023 days. It will be hosting the 2021 Premiers, Penrith Panthers, Saturday, June 18th at 5:30 p.m. Boys.
Yeah. So that's the game of the round for me for obvious reasons. I think like Sam alluded to earlier, like the first game back in Auckland for forever should be a great atmosphere for us here as well as you guys watching on telly if you're not going to the game. It's you guys talk to former Warriors all the time about you can have 5,000 at Mount Smart and it sounds like 20 or 30, but it should be packed. I'd imagine, and that's around Origin too as well, isn't it? So should it be a Panthers team with a couple of guys out?
Oh, good point.
Yeah, it will be because the following weekend is
Origin.
Rep weekend, standalone rep weekend. Oh, okay. So don't bother sending your Origin players, boys. Just leave them at home.
I think that's how it works, right? So we should be getting it. That's unfortunate in a way where it could be a B team Panthers, but as a Warriors fan, that sounds great.
Who cares?
And I'm sure, but the atmosphere will be amazing. I know I'll be there because I always go, but I might let Richard come if he wants.
That'd be lovely.
I'm a bit surprised. I'm a bit surprised that it wasn't made like the main game on the Friday night or the Sunday afternoon Channel 9 game. Like, it's such a big occasion that you would have thought that, they would have given it more prominence than to stick it on at 5:30.
It's a time difference. It's due to the time difference. Like, it's hard for them. Like if they would, the 7:30 game would have to kick off at 9:30 over there. Yeah. So, and then Saturday you'd have to do a 6:05 kickoff, I think, for the 4 o'clock time slot over here. So I guess it probably just doesn't work out for the scheduling.
Yeah, because if they did it on the Friday, it's primo for us because it's like 8 o'clock, but it's 6 o'clock for you guys, which isn't ideal for the big game. So, I'm sure It's I don't give a shit if they had it on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I know.
That's smart.
True.
Yeah. It's going to be a massive game. As Mark Roberts pointing out, the team will still be based in Redcliffe for the remainder of the season, even though they are heading home to play at Mount Smart. The idea is that they're going to fly in, fly out. So they'll still be around Redcliffe, but just not playing their games there anymore. But yeah, that'll be massive. And then your Cowboys, mate. Yeah, they'll travel to Sydney to take on Manly on the Friday night. And again, if it's rep round coming up, then Manly will be without the Trebojevic brothers and DCE. So,
good point.
We'll tell them up the week before, and then you guys can tell them up the week after.
Thank you. The last time that they travelled down to 4 Pines Park, Cowboys had 50 points put on them for the first time in 10 years. So I'm not looking forward to ever going down to Brookvale again, eh? Fair dinkum.
Yeah. Did you go there? Did you watch it?
I've been to Brookvale, but not for that certain game, and I was that close to going as well. But no, I didn't go to that game.
Mate, that would have been a trip for you. Canberra all the way up to Brookie. Wow.
A good strong 5 hours, maybe 4.
Yeah, right. That's commitment.
Yeah, it is.
Other games of interest, we have Eels versus Roosters on Friday. Bulldogs versus Tigers, anyone? Sunday?
Yeah, I reckon that'll be a blockbuster game, mate. Because that'll be like 15th versus 14th or 16th versus 15th or something like that. I can't believe they gave that the TV game.
They always do. It always seems to be on TV, the Bulldogs and the Tigers. I think both teams rate fairly well out in Western Sydney, so it has to be the reason.
Do. Yeah, they do. But still, there's more than just Western Sydney watching the footy, isn't there? That's just bizarre. Round 16, which is the week after rep round. Manly play the Storm to start off that Thursday night.
Third flogging in a row for them, eh?
What's
a third flogging in a row for them? After we beat them, the Cowboys beat them, and then the Storm.
Yeah.
Could
be a horrible 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, the Warriors play a second successive game at Mount Smart Stadium with the second leg of the Mike Doreen Cup being played against the West Tigers on Sunday, the 3rd of July at 2 p.m. And like I said, mate, this is one that you and I should definitely go back for.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm keen for that.
We should see if we get hold of old MD25 himself and get him to the game.
Present the trophy. How good would that be?
Yeah. Trophy. Where is the trophy? Here's the trophy. The Mike Doreen Cup. There it is. We'll have to find another one now for the Toddy Payton Cup.
Yeah, the TP Cup. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, so and then you've got the Cowboys hosting the Broncos Saturday, 2nd of July, 5:30. Always great clashes between the Cowboys and the Broncos. They had that
Easy
great
win.
period.
Easy. It was that game last year where Kyle Felt did that ridiculous try, wasn't it? Where he basically his arm went all double jointed or something like that.
Go gadget arm.
That's it. Yeah, Dalsim.
Other games of interest in round 16, boys. What do you got?
Panthers Roosters.
Yeah.
Friday.
And then obviously Manly Storm. I think Cowboys Broncos is going to be a barnstormer though. I really think that's going to be a good game. And Dragons Raiders I think would be good.
Rabbitohs Eels for me too. Should be a good one. Dragons Raiders.
Brilliant. Well, that brings us to round 17. We got another reduced round 17.
Yep.
So I've only got the 4 games. And it kicks off with the Sharks and the Storm on Thursday night. That'll be a good clash. We have the bye. Warriors have the Marcus bye. Cowboys have the Marcus bye.
Yeah.
Yep.
And other games of interest, well, there's probably only like one more, isn't there? What do we got? Tigers, Eels on Saturday.
Yeah.
The only other games are Friday, Knights versus Rabbitohs, and Sunday, Broncos, Dragons.
Yeah, just looking at those games and who's going to be affected by Origin.
There's no games of interest there for me, if I'm
No.
brutally honest, because it's the closest would be Storm Sharks, but it's a Storm without their Origin players. Rabbitohs without their Origin players, and then Broncos, Dragons.
You'll be watching.
The Dragons. While we do a show, Richie, I
We'll be
watch all the
watching.
games. I'm obligated.
Like, I look at the Tigers and Eels, and like, with as much respect as I can muster, I don't see anyone representing Queensland or New South Wales from the Tigers. And when you look at the Parramatta Eels, I mean, Moses snuck in because of an injury. Gutherson got left out. So that could be the only full-strength game out of this round that would probably hold interest for me as well.
Junior Paulo.
That'd be the one, true.
And then
Reed
Regan
Here we
Campbell-Gillard, Reed Marnie, maybe. What's the guy with the massive arms? Ryan Madison. He's always there and around as a 18th man or something.
I really hope Ryan Madison has a standout year next year, because his year was derailed by that controversial Felice Kafusi tackle. That concussion ruined his year this year, Ryan Madison, and he's a better player than what he showed this year. I hope he comes out and kills it.
It wasn't even a bad tackle.
That's the problem with concussions, though, isn't it? Some of these guys, like you look at Wade Graham, he just had a little tap on his head, and he ended up missing the rest of the season because of it. So,
I saw he was back training though. Looked like he was back into full contact training, as full contact as they get this early in this preseason.
Yeah, but it only takes another one bad knock. That could end these guys' careers. You've got, and there's a couple of them running around that are like on that thin ice level now. Like Luke Keary had a couple of bad concussions. You got Wade Graham, Ryan Madison. So be interesting. No interest in round 17 at all, except for the points that the Broncos have put on the Dragons. Is that right, Brad?
Basically.
Yep. I love it. Round 18, Friday night, kicks off with the Cowboys playing the Sharks up there at Queensland Country Bank Stadium.
Always look forward.
A good
I always look forward to a game against the Sharks. There's always something that happens whenever we take on the Sharkies. 2013 finals, 2016 preliminary. There's always something that happens between us and Sharks.
Yeah, exactly. What, 2013, did you say finals?
2013 elimination. That was the
seventh tackle.
The seventh tackle game?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, Sam had to be left alone that day.
I bet.
The Warriors will travel back to Australia with the Mike Doreen Cup in hand, and we'll take on the Eels in the second of the Friday night games at 7:30 on Friday, July the 15th at Combank Stadium, which the
Channel 9.
Renamed Combank Stadium. Now that will be after Origin, 2 days after Origin. So if Para do have any Origin players, there's a chance that they will be rested for that game. So that could be a big plus for us. And then other games of interest. Well, what are we looking at in this round? The Titans Broncos is always a good clash.
Derby, local derby.
Anything else, boss?
I had Storm Raiders.
I was about to say that too, man.
Yeah.
Like, if Raiders do somehow find themselves in good form, that Storm Raiders clash will be good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think they're going to be better now that they got Fogarty. I think losing what's his name? Can't even remember his name anymore.
George
Williams. Losing him really derailed this season, I think.
Yeah.
So I think having Fogarty in there, I think Fogarty is the reason I don't think the Titans will make the 8 is going to be a big loss for the Titans, in my opinion. But I think he'll do great at the Raiders.
I agree with you 100%, mate. I thought that I've been a massive fan of Fogarty. I really think I like his game style. I like the way he plays. And I thought, losing him and holding on to Toby Sexton and whoever else they're going to play in the halves, I think they're talking about maybe Brimson moving in there and putting young Campbell at fullback. I think they're going to miss Jamal Fogarty. And I think Canberra have picked up a great halfback there. Absolutely.
I feel for Paul Turner. He left us to go get game time at the Titans, and he's not going to get any game time there either.
No.
Injuries. Might get a bench spot.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to end up like probably like Ada Hingano and Tui Lolohea, who moved on and to think that they get greener pastures at Canberra and the Tigers respectively, and they couldn't really crack a first grade game, had to go over to England. So I think Turner will probably end up the same because he's gone to the wrong club. Should have done his homework a bit better, or his manager should have.
Should have gone the Knights.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Round 19 we're up to now, and we're kicking off with the Eels versus the Broncos back at the old Combank Stadium. Our Warriors will travel to a cold, wet GIO stadium to face the Raiders Saturday, July 23rd at 3 p.m. Oh, well, this at 3 p.m. time slot could be conducive to some better footy than if it was at night and the freezing cold of Canberra.
I was about to say it's not going to make it any less bloody cold or warm, man. 3 o'clock on Saturday, it's going to be freezing.
Oh, well, a little bit.
I go to the GIO game.
Small mercies.
Yeah, shocking.
Yeah, I should know better than that, yeah.
It sucks playing in Canberra, as we all know. But I think the Warriors are normally the best at it due to the fact that they come from Auckland, where it's miserable as well. But
once upon a time,
this is a Warriors team that haven't been in Auckland for 2 years, so they're used to that beautiful weather that they've been getting. So it's going to be horrible for them now too.
I was going to say, can you imagine the culture shock when they get back to Auckland for that game, Brad? A lot of these guys
it'll be pissing down, and it'll be beautiful weather for them here.
Cowboys will be the Channel 9 game Sunday, July 24th against the West Tigers.
Yep, stark contrast. Sunday Arvo, bloody 25 degrees, sun blaring down. Sensational.
Other possible games of interest, Rabbitohs and the Storm should be a bit of a blockbuster.
Yeah.
Well, if Sharks also pull themselves up to a good standard, that Panthers-Sharks game at Penrith could be bloody good.
Yeah. Yeah. And Manly putting some points on the Dragons will be
100 points. 100 points.
100. Round 20. Manly versus the Roosters is a Thursday night game, starts off that round. And the Warriors will head back to Mount Smart Stadium to host the Storm on Friday, July 29th at 6 p.m. I'm assuming
that's
6 p.m.
That's 8 p.m. 8 p.m.
your time?
Yeah, so it's so that's a win. Yeah.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah, and Friday games always have a good turnout. Even when the Warriors aren't performing well, you put them up against a team like the Storm, you're going to get just off the street walk-ins due to the fact that it's the Storm too. So they've been lucky. I'm sure they've planned it quite well with the games they're bringing back to Auckland. There's some good matchups there.
That's a good time slot, and Brad, you'll know this. That's a good time slot for maximum fan and animosity as well at Mount Smart.
Yeah,
and we normally have the Sunday afternoon games, which are a bit more low key. But whenever they throw us in a nighttime game on a Friday or Saturday night, bit more edge to the crowd.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's on for young and old.
What was I going to say? I don't know. Keep going. Cowboys travel to Cogra to take on the Dragons in another Channel 9 game.
It is interesting.
Wow.
2 Sunday back-to-back games. It's rare for North Queensland. Been to Cogra twice as well. It's not a bad boutique stadium actually, but I won't be attending. Yeah, it is a good venue.
Yep, we had good memories of there last year when we took on the Dragons and won. Yeah, that was good.
I wonder if I should go down to Cogra actually and sort of try to abuse the St. George Illawarra fans because of the barbecue breach earlier this year and try and throw some expletives while sitting in there. No, I'll probably have something lobbed at me, actually.
Well, they've moved him on. You'll have to get him when he plays when the Cowboys play Canterbury because the big idiot's gone up there.
True. Yeah.
And other games of interest in this round, for me, I picked out the Titans-Raiders game. I think that will be a good game of footy. Anyone else got anything?
Eels Panthers.
Eels Panthers, good. Yeah.
I've got Manly Roosters.
Manly Roosters.
Just going cliche, going for the obvious big match of the round. But I think that'll be quite good on a Thursday night. The Thursday night games are always hard for me to get into due to the fact that you got work the next day. But yeah, if they throw games like that,
aren't they?
Yeah.
They're on late for us. At 8 o'clock's a really late kickoff for us on a Thursday night.
It's ridiculous.
It's like 10. It's like 10:30 over here.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. The other game that could have interest is, depending on how they're travelling during the season, will be the Sharks and the Rabbitohs game. If the Sharks are playing some good footy, they could trouble the Rabbitohs down there at home at PointsBet Stadium. Where are we up to now, mate?
21, round 21. Yeah, kicking off with the Roosters and the Broncos, and the Warriors head to Sunshine Coast to take on the Rabbitohs on Saturday, August 6 at 3 p.m. I'm still recovering from the last time I went there, and we got 60 put on us. That Saturday afternoon game. It's glorious conditions there as well. Beautiful stadium, but some painful memories.
Started well.
Better than it's all downhill.
Started well with the DWZ try, and then it just went to shit after that.
It was one of those games where, every time they got the ball, they just scored. We couldn't stop them. But new season, 2022 is our year, so there you go.
There you go, exactly.
Yeah. Cowboys playing the Bulldogs in Bundaberg.
Bundaberg! Yeah, it is interesting. First ever game in Bundaberg.
First ever game, is it?
I'm pretty certain.
Okay. Interesting.
Wow.
Okay, that's on Sunday, August 7th at 2 p.m.
Nice.
Bundy.
How far is Bundaberg from Brisbane?
I think it's it'd be a 4.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
It's 3.5 hours from Sunshine Coast. I know that.
So Sunshine Coast is about, for me, it's about 2 hours, but I'm about half hour out there from the city. So say an hour and a half, about 5 hours or so, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you measure the trip to Sunshine Coast in tiers, Rob? Is that how you measured it last year?
Yes, it was. Moving on from that.
I did from Central Coast a couple of times.
That's the first time I've ever seen us have 60 put on us, and well good. Other games of interest in that round. How about the Storm versus the Titans on Friday?
Yeah, I like the Roosters Broncos on Thursday. I'm expecting a much improved Broncos next year. I don't know why, but I just am. And I think that Sea Eagles Parramatta game will be an interesting one as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Raiders Panthers always match up pretty well.
Yeah.
Another good
and again, we've got the Sharks Dragons with that that rivalry that they have prior to the St. George Illawarra area. So another good opportunity for the Dragons to have 50 points put on them in a game of footy, which will obviously put a smile on Brad's face.
100%.
So much hate for the Dragons.
Yeah.
All right, round 22 starts on Thursday night. Again,
Ooh.
Panthers Storm. What a game of footy that'll be.
Cracker.
Both teams full strength, and obviously you'd have to think that they'll be vying. They'll be up in the top four. Those two teams.
Yeah, run into the finals.
The Warriors have another Friday night game. This time at Mount Smart Stadium. Take on the Bulldogs. 6 p.m. game or 8 p.m. game at home, but 6 p.m. here in Australia. That should be a good game. We always have some good contests against the Bulldogs. They even when they're not playing well, they seem to trouble us a little bit. 2 years in a row, they've kind of had us early, and then we've had to come from behind and get the win.
Yep.
But yeah, that'll be a good game. And the Cowboys travel to the SCG to take on the Roosters on Saturday at 3 p.m. August the 13th. That'll be a tough one, mate.
Yeah, but I will make every effort to try and get there. It'd be the first time ever that North Queensland have played on the Sydney Cricket Ground. So I definitely would like to be a part of that if I can.
Yeah, well. You're bringing fire tonight, mate. You got all the little tidbits of information.
Well, I'm outnumbered bloody 4-1, so I got to do something.
No, we're not ganging up on you. We're appreciating you.
Not yet. No.
That brings us to round 23. You got to wait for that one.
What's happening round 23?
Oh, you'll see.
Oh.
Well, we'll move straight on to that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the kickoff with the Rabbitohs and the Panthers. The round kicks off, and then we are going up to your neck of the woods, Townsville, for the Toddy Payton Cup return. Return fixture. Take on the Cowboys Friday, August 19th at 6 p.m. And that'd be a great one for us to go to, mate.
Yeah, I think we will go to that one.
Yeah,
most definitely. It's one of the few venues I haven't been to watch a live game, and we have a great connection or affinity with the Cowboys. Their coach and two of their players have been live on our show for a little bit of a chat in JTB and Hicks and Toddy Payton. So, yeah, I reckon
Michael Luck.
Let's get on Michael Luck as well. And Brent Tate, who'll be doing some commentary up there. So, we'll definitely get up there for that one. That'll be great. Sam, you can come up with us.
Thank you. I think you'll be dragging me by my ankles on the back of a ute or something. I'm sure it'll be a first-class experience, lads.
We'll at the red carpet. It's all right. Other games of interest that weekend, boys. We got Broncos Storm. That's on the Friday night.
Panthers.
Rabbits
Panthers.
I'm looking at Newcastle versus Canberra, the Sunday 9 game. That could be a spot up for grabs for 7th or 8th.
Yeah, could be.
At this point of the year as well.
Yeah, I really can't see Knights challenging for a top 8 spot next year. I just don't see it
that badly. Hey.
Yeah, no. I think they're really going to miss Pearce. Unless they get a good half, because Clifford's still only young, and they're talking about that they're going to have Phoenix Crossland, who's also very young. And I think they've lost Connor Watson as well. He's gone back to the Roosters. I just think that they're going to struggle. I think their spine's going to struggle in their halves. But that's just my opinion. What do I know? I support a team that has made the finals once since 2011. So
I do like the thought, and this is because I've got a soft spot for him, obviously being an ex-Cowboy, but Jake Clifford being tutored by Andrew Johns from afar or thereabouts. Don't know how directly he'll work with Jake Clifford, but I like that for Jake Clifford, man. He's got a massive boot. I just would say that his selections sometimes, man, he sort of looks like he confuses himself. And if he can get that right, he can do good things for Newcastle.
And that comes with maturity too. He's a young half. He hasn't been given that opportunity. He's always played second fiddle when he was up at the Cowboys. He wasn't like the dominant half in that halves pairing. He was the 5'8". Having Joey come in and school him. I mean, if you can't, get a good half back on the market, we'll at least bring the the best one that's ever played and bring him in as your coach and your tutor. I think it's a great move from the Newcastle management to bring Joey back into the fold. But yeah, I mean, coaching can only get so far, and it's still the guys on the field that have to do the job. And it's not so much Clifford I'm worried about; it's who they're going to partner him with in the halfback role. That is, yeah. I just see it as a big as a void. They haven't really got anything in the back pocket, and I think the decision of Pearce to move on was one that really caught him off guard. So, but yeah, that's just my thoughts and opinions. You know, like I said, what do I know? We'll get to this stage next year, and the Knights will be leading the comp. So, or the Dragons.
Or the Dragons. I was going to say, Dragons will be well and truly ahead of everyone.
The second last round kicks off with the Broncos hosting the Eels at Suncorp, and then our Warriors head to the foot of the mountains to take on Penrith.
Tough one.
Tough trip, that was.
August the 26th at 6 p.m. Now, we've had some awful performances at Penrith. We've also had a couple of half-decent wins.
Yeah.
Probably our only saving grace is that it's round 24, and hopefully if we can have a bit of a chat to Ivan, he might be able to rest a couple of players in that round.
For old time's sake, Ivan, come on.
Yeah. But if we've managed to knock them off mid-season during that origin period, you can guarantee they'll be out gunning for the 2 points in this round. So, that'll be a very tough game.
And we don't know how tight it will be. At that point, that game might be a must-win for them to take the minor premiership potentially. So I expect them to throw everyone at us, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cowboys will travel down to take on the Rabbits.
Oh, that's tough.
Similar situation.
Yep. And then other games of interest: Storm and the Roosters.
Yeah, that's what I had.
And I've also got the Tigers Dragons
Tigers Dragons.
Well, that'll determine last place. That'll be for the wooden spoon.
I'm also looking at Raiders and Manly as well. Those two sides have some humdingers over the past 5 years as well.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they definitely have. And what else? Yeah.
That's really
and into the last round. Yeah. Into the last round, Rob?
Final round, yes, exactly. Kicking off for the Eels and the Storm. Great match to kick off the final round.
Yep.
Warriors play their final game of the regular season at Mount Smart Stadium against the Titans, Saturday, September 3rd. That's a 3 o'clock game over here, 5 o'clock New Zealand time. We finished with the Titans again. Let's just hope that it doesn't come down to this game, you know.
It's on our home turf this time round, though, mate.
It's at least it's on our home turf, and
So can I ask, like, how do you guys feel about hosting the Titans in that final slot? Like, I would have preferred to have seen someone like the Raiders play in that last game because there'd be a lot of supporters down there in New Zealand, and they'd pack it out. Not the Titans.
I think there's probably a bit of. I think there'll be a big turnout due to that game we don't want to talk about. It's kind of like a revenge game. It's like final round again up against the same team. And all the comments about like the hostile crowd that got under the Warriors' skin. It's like a return. Go, come on, Warriors guys, get out there and do the same to the Titans this time. But the facetious part of me when I saw the draw, I saw we were getting our last game at Mount Smart. I was like, sweet, we don't have to travel back at the end of the season when we don't make the playoffs. That was like my first thing. It's horrible to say it, but I'm getting it out there now. That was my thought. It was like, oh, we'll be home already. That's one less travel. But yeah, we're going to make the playoffs, so we'll be fine. But yeah,
luckily we don't need to worry about that.
I just think that for the story point of view, like just doing a repeat of the 2021 disaster. That was the round, last round against the Titans.
Oh,
Be
yeah.
a good little story.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
fair
Yeah, I
call.
hadn't thought of that. I just was of the opinion that it didn't matter what games they sent back to New Zealand, the crowd will come because they've been starved of the live footy for so long. So it really didn't matter. The fact that they get to have the Panthers and Melbourne go back and play at Mount Smart Stadium is probably a good one, like two of the biggest clubs in the NRL. The Titans thing, I mean, we've got a little bit of a rivalry with the Titans now because I have picked up a couple of our players. Guys go from us to the Titans, so similar to what's happened at the Cowboys. So, I think it'll be a good contest and interesting point.
Sorry,
I was going to ask you, Brad, is if, say, for argument's sake, that we have a season that we all hope and have desperately want, where we qualify for finals and we qualify in a position where we can get a home semi-final. Do you think that the home semi-final would be played at Mount Smart then, or would they play it over here in Australia?
I think they'll do it here, providing that everything's gone okay and they've managed 5 games at Mount Smart. I think they'll have enough confidence that they can do it again. If it's a bit dicey and they get maybe the final 2 only end up in Auckland, then they might say, no, we're going to keep it in Australia. Obviously, the Warriors, we've all spoken at length, this financial struggle they've kind of been in. If they get a home semi, they'll want it at Mount Smart, 100%. But going back on that Titans thing, I think another thing is the Fafita factor in terms of getting crowds in. I used to do it with the Bulldogs and the Roosters with the Sunny factor. Kiwis will go out to watch Sunny. There'll be Kiwi fans that'll want to watch David Fafita in the flesh, providing it's the game he plays good in. Hopefully not, but those marquee players, I look at it more that way as well.
Cowboys point of view, they play the last game at home hosting the Panthers Saturday, September 3rd, 7:35.
So what you're telling me, Roo, is that the Cowboys need to beat Penrith to sneak into the top 8 this year in the final round of the year.
More or less.
All right. Get the voodoo dolls out now, boys. Please.
Don't forget the game before that. You've got the Rabbits the week before that too. So
True. Hey, maybe the Panthers might rest their players the week before finals come around. Oh, that's such a tough 2 weeks, isn't it?
Oh.
If history's anything to go by, they will. They will rest them in the final round, which should help. It should help in theory. But the Panthers they got some good good backups, or they did actually. They've lost a lot of them now, haven't they? Yeah. It'll be interesting. I suppose it all goes back to the ladder position where they are.
They'll have Sean O'Sullivan.
Yeah, well, Sean O'Sullivan's,
live sauce.
He's a good player. I still stick with my praising of him this year. I think he was great for the Warriors as a backup, and I think he'll do fine with Penrith. But it's a tough game for the Cowboys. Either way, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, depending on the ladder situation at that point for us. But it's never good to see potentially the top 2 guys teams back to back. So I'm sorry, Sam.
No, we're going to take it in our stride and we're going to win both of them. That's what's going to happen.
That's the way. That's the spirit. Yeah. Other games of interest: Roosters, Rabbitohs on the Friday night.
You also got that Eel Storm game. You'd have to see, depending on where the Storm are sitting. They're notorious for resting their players in the final round. So it'll be interesting to see.
So I feel like the Storm have got a second string team that could probably be competitive on its own. If they
they've proven that, haven't they?
Yeah.
Eels actually toppled the Storm late this season.
They did. They snapped their form slump.
Their winning
and
streak,
came
yeah.
out- yeah, they came out and beat the Eagles. So.
Just on that South and East game as well, that's to be advised. So that might be the grand opening of the new Sydney Football Stadium as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it will happen though, just because of how many delays that have occurred over the past couple of years. But at the moment, that's what they're trying to get, is that South and East game to be the new grand opening for the new Sydney Football Stadium.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's a hell of a game to
Yeah.
kick it off in a new
Yeah,
stadium,
absolutely.
though. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
I like that Tigers Raiders game at Leichhardt Oval. That's just, I don't know, I just find that game very nostalgic.
It's great.
Cool.
Yeah, it is great that the Tigers get to play their final game of the season at Leichhardt Oval. It is. I mean, it's a great place to watch footy. I've said that so many times, and yeah, it'll be great to see them finish their season at that ground and not have to worry about games after that weekend.
I was just going to say, you said finish their season. I'm like, okay, well, that's.
Oh no, I knew what I was saying.
Yeah.
Waiting for the one to come out and start jobbing me in the face.
Final game. What are you talking about? That concludes the home and away fixtures.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good discussion. Let's not forget too, they released the NRLW draw at the same time as the NRL draw. I don't know if you guys saw that. That kicks off on the 27th of Feb with all three games taking place in the first round at McDonald Jones Stadium. Season opener will be the Dragons taking on the new Gold Coast Titans franchise. And we've got a bit of a affinity with that Gold Coast team because there's at least 7 former Warriors girls.
It's just all the Warriors.
That have gone to that franchise. And then that'll be followed by the grand finals, 3-time premiers, aren't they? Broncos, yeah.
Broncos,
and playing the Roosters. And then the last game will be the other 2 new franchises, which is Newcastle and Parramatta. The thing that I'm really happy about and the great initiative is that round 3, round 4, and round 5 of the NRLW will coincide with round 1, 2, and 3 of the NRL, which will then see these NRLW games played as curtain raisers to the NRL games. And it'll give these girls their real first opportunity since the inception of the NRLW in 2018 to play games in front of an actual home fan base. So, that'll be good for them. Still waiting to see the full squads. I know they've also gone into preseason training now, but full squad lists still haven't been released, and there is a lot of players that have moved around a little bit. Matty Studden, who was at the Dragons last year, has now moved to Parramatta. We've got Georgia Hale, Karina Brown, Crystal Tamarua, Tasman Gray, Shania Power, Brianna Clark, Vani Polite have all gone to the Titans with no Warriors team being there. I think they've moved Jessica Surgis from the Dragons to the Roosters. So there was an edit that came out that they said the top 30 players, 5 of each of the top 30 players would go to each of the franchises, and then they could build their clubs from that. So it stops, it seems like the Dragons or the Broncos having a stranglehold on all these players. If there's memberships, if anyone's out there supporting the NRLW, there is memberships on sale now for the NRLW teams that you can go to the team websites and pick them up. So, and if you don't get your memberships, because it's not the team you support, that's fine. Make sure you get behind the concept of the NRLW and, give these girls your support. And I'm looking forward to, the Warriors Titans game, round 2 of the NRL, which will be round 4 of the NRLW, where the Titans, I think, are hosting the Broncos as a curtain raiser. So I'll be up there for that one. That'll be good. It'll be great to catch up with some of those girls too after the game. But yeah, that's the NRLW.
Good. I like rugby league, mate, and just because the boys are playing doesn't mean that I'm not going to watch it because the girls are playing. I love the sport rugby league, man, and I'll get behind it. I think as a Cowboys supporter, I think maybe I'll go for the Eels. in the NRLW, I reckon.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
I'm going with the Dragons. I actually, it says I used to really like the Dragons girls team. I like Jessica.
Yep.
And Honey used to play there.
Yep.
In the first year, so there was quite a few players that I enjoyed watching there. And yeah, it's just a shame the Warriors girls aren't getting to play in a Warriors jersey, but we understand the situation. And hopefully, once everything starts spinning on the planet again, we can have a Warriors women's team in there again. Because I think once they expand it out, I think they need all the support they can get now, so we can get to that point. And get more. And I think even if you had if each team had their own women's team and it was just the curtain raiser every week, I'd go. I love watching it. So
yeah, it's a great game. It's a good product. The girls, play just as hard as the guys do. They don't get the recognition that they deserve, and at the moment they're not full-time professional athletes, but they play with the level and commitment that they are full-time professional athletes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the plan for the NRL is for all NRL clubs to have a women's team. I don't know what their plan is in terms of how far forward they're thinking, whether it's going to be a gradual introduction of teams. But you'd have to think the fact that we've given 3 years of service to that comp, that when they expand again, we'd have to be at the top of the list to participate. So
first cap off the rank.
And the beauty too is
that'd be the way.
Yeah, it's going to give us some footy to watch in February, which we don't normally get. I'm all up for that. It's a big season of footy for the women next year.
Because there's no nines next year, is there? Sorry.
No.
Because unlike Sam, I do no research.
So we know.
So there's nothing like that leading in. So yeah, it'd be great way to kick off the footy year for us, I think.
May I ask a question without notice? So the Pacific Test that's happening at the moment, rumored to be in New Zealand. Where would you like that game to be played, and who would you like it to be against if it does come to fruition?
It'd have to be at Mount Smart. Due to being Pacific, that is Pacific Hub. So and who to play, I'm not really sure. I'll leave that to the Islander in the group, Richie.
Well, Tonga's always big. At Mount Smart, they pull a big crowd always. So, that would make a lot of sense.
And Tonga they've had the most success of the Pacific nations. They've beaten Australia, they've beaten New Zealand. That's probably the smart, and they get a fantastic support when they play at Mount Smart, don't they?
Unbelievable.
It's a sea of red, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I've got a picture somewhere when they played the World Cup semi against England there. And my dad had got me tickets because that was the slot that New Zealand would be in if they actually played in that World Cup. And it was an amazing experience. It was just red everywhere. Huge crowd. They lost, but there was no anger in that. It was a strange feeling to be sitting with a team or fans of a team that had just lost the semi-final and they were acting like they'd won.
That World Cup, their suppers literally stopped a couple of suburbs in South Auckland where there was just cars parked up in the middle of the road and Tongan flags everywhere and people jumping on bonnets of cars. It was pandemonium, really was.
Yeah. Was that the World Cup where Fiji beat us as well?
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that one up.
Yeah. That was a shocking. Yeah, I remember.
Was it 4-2 or something? There was no tries.
Wow. Bloody hell. All right, mate. We'll quickly just wrap up. We've got some live chats coming up. We'll keep the boys here while we just quickly wrap up.
Yep, we certainly
yeah.
do. We've got Jack Murchie coming on Wednesday, 17th of November, so that's next Wednesday. So we'll have a good chat with the merchandise, see how pre-season training is going, and he'll be looking for a massive season this year. The week after that, 24th of November, we've got Grant Revelli, Warriors and Cowboys player, Sam, so be keen for that one. And plus many more to be announced as we lock in some dates, including exclusive live chat with Ivan Cleary, Ali Lauatiti, and Robbie Mears as well.
Nice.
So plenty to look forward to there.
Absolutely. And just a reminder to everyone that we Roo and Hammer on Patreon, which is a membership platform that enables people to show their support for us and the content that we produce every week by buying a monthly subscription. There's going to be Patreon tiers to support to suit various budgets, but for the moment, we've just got our basic bronze tier up and running.
Yeah, that's right. You can head to our Patreon page and show your support and subscribe to a bronze tier, set at the lowest amount possible, $3, which is next to nothing. And we've also partnered with Torius Screen Print to produce a range of merchandise for us, which will be available soon. And we'll have some exclusive Patreon-only merchandise for our silver, gold, platinum, and diamond level Patreon tiers in the coming weeks. We're just working through those again still. And the exclusive Patreon merchandise will not be for sale and will only be available to Patreon subscribers.
Correct. And as always, we want to give a shout out to those that have subscribed to our bronze tier Patreon program so far. Daniel Delore, Peregrine Falconer, Sean Kurzweil, The Kirch, Nick McKercher, Mary Carter, Fabian Maroa, Siala Afamasanga, Stevie Williams, Christian Catley, Alf Tuolave, TK Harris, Ted Clark, Ina Mete, Lisa Marie Bateman, Ken Wills, Kane Fraser, and Nigel Phillips. We thank you all very much for your support. We greatly appreciate it.
Legend. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'll echo those thoughts. Thank you so much for your support. Don't forget, if you do miss any of our live shows, you can catch up on our Facebook page, go to the videos section, or you can go to our YouTube channel, catch us there. The easiest way to find our videos is to head to our link tree. The link is just there on the screen now. And don't forget, if you subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel as well, and you'll never miss any of our streamed content. It doesn't cost a thing, you know.
It doesn't. And if you're a podcast fan, you can catch all our episodes on podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker, Radio Direct, and iHeartRadio. Make sure you subscribe to us there. We upload our episodes so that they're ready to listen to every Thursday morning. So this one will be there, should be there first thing in the morning. And please head to our Roo and Hammer Instagram page where we load content daily to keep our followers informed of any upcoming Warriors events, Warriors news, player movements, all other related Warriors content. At the moment, we're going through honouring our players of the past, both men and women, and doing a couple of little ones towards our 2022 players that we should be looking out for. So head over to Instagram and you can catch all that on there.
Yeah, well, that's it for another awesome show. We want to thank our guests, Brad, Richie, and Sam. Thank you for you guys for coming on tonight to help us go through the Nrl Draw, 2022 Nrl Draw. Thanks, guys. It was awesome having you on as always. And we want to thank all of you guys watching and who can continue to support Roo and Hammer. It's very much appreciated by us.
Absolutely appreciate it. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Richie. Thanks, Sam, for coming on. Really appreciated the input. And it's nice that we know who Brad is against for the 2022 season.
For 2022, yeah. We'll see how long that lasts.
All right. Thanks,
mate,
guys.
We'll have to get you boys back on too when the merch drops. We can talk about some different merch, the new merchandise.
The new Puma gear coming out soon. So
exciting. Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah,
no worries.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
No worries,
everyone.
boys.
Cheers.